Yes. Hi,
Welcome
Sandeep.
back. Welcome back, everyone. Yep. So
we're going to have an international talk show today, and across
totally,
three cities:
I
Bangalore,
am so
Mumbai.
I am so excited to hear our guest today. But anyway, before we start, welcome everyone to another edition of our Value Additions with sales tips on how to grow, because we went through a very difficult phase. Everyone did, as far as the pandemic is concerned. Now things are getting back to whatever we can make as the new normal. Okay, whatever happens now is normal. Okay, so let's not try and go back to what we thought was normal earlier. So we need to do something new and different, because people have changed, things have changed. Situation is a lot different now. It needs a different approach, and that's the reason why Suresh and I are bringing in a lot of different guests who will give you their perspective from their years and years of experience of dealing with such kind of difficult situations, and tell us exactly how we need to go about it. Right, Suresh?
Thank you, Sandeep. It's absolutely fantastic to have you be the foundation and the anchor. Hi, every one of you wonderful entrepreneurs and small and medium enterprises, whom I call it as growing enterprises, which is, of course, the wheels of the economy across the world. Pleasure today, as Value Additions, to bring in different concepts and perspectives on sales. Sales at an SME level is always about transactions primarily. But the aspect of communication, the aspect of messaging, who else to have it on the show today from right from Dubai, the one and only uniquely named professional who has got 99% of his customers who are Fortune 100 companies, who looks at messaging communication with so much passion and so much implementation in terms of the real sense. Unconventional, if you want to know what the meaning, here he is, personified on the show, the one and only Victor King. Buddy Victor, pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you, Sandeep. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's completely our pleasure. Thank you for joining us from the other side. Okay, so just for everyone. Okay, I'll leave that to you, Suresh. Okay, go ahead. Introduce Victor.
Yeah, absolutely. So here is Victor, who absolutely focuses on international customers, focuses on customers, like I said, who are Fortune 100, large enterprises, and gets them. I've seen him in action, passionately dispensing the importance of communication, of messaging, and all of that. Not for the sake of giving it hollow words, but connecting it with business and the solutions. So public relations and communications, if there is somebody who is absolute in his entire endeavor, here is the managing director of Absolute Communications Dubai, Victor King himself. Victor, in your journey to large enterprises, and we spoke before the show also as a rundown, small and medium enterprises, are they disconnected when compared to large enterprises? That's the first question. But before that, your journey, you continue to be an enigma, continue to inspire. So tell us about the magic of why so much passion and PR and communications.
I think, Suresh, thank you for a wonderful introduction. It's really humbling. And so when it comes to SME, I think every large enterprise today at some point started as an SME. So whether from Microsoft's to Amazon's to it's always a warehouse approach. So don't lose the essence of that. SMEs have a lot of power in hand, and that passion that you have when you start an organization with a vision to make it a multinational is what you don't need to lose. That same passion, same essence of what you do every day when you started it by putting in those 14, 16, 18 hours, 20 hours a day. Keep that passion alive. Maybe you're not working 20 hours a day today, but keep that passion in your mind that yes, where you came from and where you are today.
Absolutely. So in terms, Sandeep, you want to say something before I go to the next point?
Yeah. So no, he's made a very valid point in terms of what it is that the connect that has to happen. And every large company was once a small company. Nobody just started off large. So I think that's the one of the most important aspects that SMEs need to realize today, that they can very well be those large companies. However, there is a journey that you need to undergo, and there is a lot of learning that happens, and there is a lot of implementation of the learning that happens. You see, a lot of people will know what needs to be done, but then how many of them have got the gumption to go out there and do it? I think, and that's what makes the difference between the guys who remain where they are and the guys who actually grow. And who better than Victor to tell us about all of this?
Right, and also Victor, being in Dubai, in a way, potpourri of so many diverse cultures of the world. I mean, I would call Dubai as a melting pot of cultures across the world in its entire sense. And being there and looking at such cultural diversity, speak about communication, for this young sales guy or the senior sales guy in the SME space who goes door knocking or does any of the process of sales, PR and communication seems to be something else, right? This seems to be बड़े लोग करते हैं, large enterprises करते हैं, agencies करते हैं, हम तो बस बेचने के लिए लगे हैं. So I'm not using Hindi, but I think in the Indian context, in the Indian audience, I want to push that aspect through Hindi. But on a global audience today, if somebody who is a uniquely extraordinary but thinks is an ordinary salesperson, does PR and communication play a role? That's point one. And point two, as you roll out your tips, the being at a vantage position of in a cultural melting pot of Dubai, how have you seen messaging and communication? Is it same across cultures? Is it different?
So here's one thing which I always speak about is that at the essence of it, which will be also one of my tips I'll give is, at the end of the day, your customer is a human being. Don't forget that. So you have to speak his language. I'm not saying speak his native language as in where he comes from. Understand him as a human being. And no matter which culture he comes from, he has an human essence to it. He reacts to empathy. He reacts to information. And that information has to be communicated to him in the way he understands it. So whether you're based in India or Dubai or in UK or in Australia, no matter which part of the world you come from, you have to just adapt to that. Today, a good example is my customers are coming from China, from Europe, from Italy to Southeast Asia to India. So I spread across even Africa, to be honest now. So when you're spread across 5 continents, customers coming from 5 different continents, you have to understand and adapt to their understanding of what their cultural values and how they understand and process information. That makes it very interesting. I think every salesperson should definitely spend that few minutes understanding the behavior of that individual in his context, his family values, what his thought on how he sees information.
I think this is all. Yeah, so I think Suresh, this is all part of Victor's first slide. Maybe we need to get that up on screen.
Yeah,
is that right, Victor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go.
Show the top,
so that's
right? Yeah.
Yes. So here it is, a very important word. When people talk about public relations and corporate communications, one word they tend to forget, one word they tend to stop focusing on is the relations, human relationship with your customers, which is very important. And that relationship is only formed when you understand the other person and what you do to sustain and grow and develop that relationship. And that is the essence of any process in a business environment, and most importantly in sales. That if you don't have that relationship, now the question comes in, how do you build that relationship using a communication tool? And here goes my first step is understand, which I've already said, is understand the value ecosystem of that individual. So if you're going to talk to a Marwadi person as against somebody coming in from Southern India, understand the value ecosystem of their environment, and then speak to them in that language. And that's where your sales tool combined with a communication strategy will come and help you. So when I go and speak to a Gujarati guy, I make it a point, I mean, I'm talking in Dubai, that I never speak about certain things which are culturally maybe offensive to him, not acceptable to him, and rather speak about things which he enjoys. I had a gentleman here yesterday who's a financial advisor, and before he came in, I just Googled him for 5 seconds and went to his LinkedIn profile, finding out that he's a vegan. That's one word, because he was speaking on various vegan forums. So for me, the icebreaker became fairly easy.
Right.
So I think, and that's where in the first 10 minutes itself, we were able to develop a relationship where a 1 hour meeting went on for 3 hours,
Wow.
where he was able to speak about his family, his love, his father, and how he inspired him to be where he is today. And that was literally in a 75 to 120 second research on him
Yeah.
on Google and LinkedIn.
Simple,
That's
but
the power of
profound perspective. Yeah, simple but profound perspective. Very true. Sales guys go with account mapping and understanding the account, but understanding the real human being in the buyer creates so much of wonderful ambience that buying becomes much easier. You have to sell to.
Yeah.
It's what absolutely very simple.
It's like they say, at the end of the day, people sell to people. So no matter what, one mustn't forget that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's move on ahead, sir.
The second tip is messaging. Wow.
So again, from the PR perspective, your focus. This is the second pillar, or rather, one of the primary pillars. So each one plays a very important role. Is messaging. What is the rhetoric? What is the language you speak in? And what is the message you want to communicate? Now, this plays a very important role. Now, of course, in Sales 101, understanding the requirement of the customers and trying to put a layer of your solutions on top of it, perfect. You can't go without it. But what goes in between that sandwich is very important, and that's messaging. And that is the messaging which, as a sales professional, you need to understand that when a communication goes from you, whether it's an email, a phone call, or a knock on the door, what are you saying to him? What does it mean to him, from an introduction to getting him to sign that check? And I'm not saying sign the contract, I'm getting him to sign the check. These two layers have a big chunk of sandwich. So think of it as a club sandwich, where every layer plays a role to enhance the taste. It's the same thought you have to go with. Make sure that the bullet points of each communication, not just what his problem is and what is the solution you're offering and how will it impact his business and his growth. Those are very 101 stuff, which is very important. You can't do without it. So you can't make a sandwich without bread. But at the same time, those ingredients from lettuce to mayonnaise to tomatoes to anything that you fancy in that sandwich has to be added. And that messages comes in from that individual and from his business environment. Now I'm adding a layer of human and business to it. What does his business react to? How sensitive it is to political influences, social influences, socioeconomic conditions, cultural diversities. How does his business react to, say, all that needs to be communicated in that language, in that sandwich of when you present to him. So that call should not, which starts with, "Hi, my name is Victor King." What is that you're saying after that is the second layer of the sandwich. Right. I'm not here to sell to you. And I'll actually give you by example, is one of my oldest clients and one of my largest clients from Taiwan. The communication started on LinkedIn when I got a LinkedIn request, their local managing director. My message to him was, as a business leader, what are the challenges that you're facing? And I don't want to come and help you solve those challenges. I want to understand those challenges, put my challenges on the table, and see how two business leaders can find a solution to address those challenges. Right. Not me, not him. As two senior executives or two people, can we discuss those challenges instead of trying to find a solution to it? And what is the reason behind those challenges? So that 7 years back, that one message has generated close to about $3-4 million worth of revenue for me in the last 6 years.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That's the power of messaging. Yeah.
That's the power of messaging. It's how you start with it.
So that's why dollars have come into the conversation, Victor. We always speak rupees in the show. We have dollars making an entry, and not dollars but billions of dollars. Fantastic for that.
No, I've been definitely. It's what you converse into. I always say it's the language of the industry, and today, if a salesperson is trying to sell to an SME. Right. That SME will that SME owner, if it becomes a global entity, will he still buy from the salesperson or no? That depends on the relation and the messaging that you communicate.
Messaging, absolutely. So all of you wonderful folks and wonderful sales entrepreneurs, I'm calling it a sales entrepreneurs, okay, to qualify entrepreneurship with sales. This is a wonderful perspective from Victor. The show still goes on. Speaking of the currency of messaging is in terms of dollars. So up the game 70 times or 72 times, whatever is the exchange rate today, Indian perspective. That's the exponential growth. Victor, over to you. This is fascinating, right? Sandeep, go to the next slide.
Yes, here we go.
It unfolds. Okay.
So so this is a very interesting one for me. So be there or be squared. Now this is focused on one simplistic thought of consistency of communications. Now when I use the word consistency of communication, I simply scar away from the thought of harassing a customer by 200 calls or 2000 emails. No, I'm not talking about that. When I talk about consistency of communication is, how do you take your name for him to remember you every day or every time you call or email and he receives your call? Now, how do you maintain that consistency without harassing him? And the easiest way to do is own your space. You are an expert in the domain. You are believing that you're the best in the business. That belief system has to be there. And how do you communicate that message to your target, to the customer that you're trying to sell to, or a group of customers that you're trying to sell to, is being there. That comes in when you write about it, talk about it. So start a vlog, share those vlogs with them. You come across an information that is relevant to his business, share it with him. Monitor your client's business performance. Congratulate him on his new business acquisitions. So it's not always the sales call doesn't have to be always a sales call. It has to be a communication channel. As we use the word in PR industries, that communication channel has to be swift, and it should not be a straight road which puts you to sleep. It has to have those bends and curves where he feels not just informed. And please don't share those WhatsApp jokes with them. They get 2,000 of them every day.
Yeah.
Share relevant business information, add a touch of humor to it. Again, a classical example of that is when a client of mine signed a prospective client that I was pitching to, signed a partnership with another entity. A one-line message. Hey, just found out that you, heartiest congratulations. I just found out that you signed this deal. I'm really happy. I'm happy to see your business grow. Thank you very much. No meeting request. No, let me help you communicate this. No. This is courtesy. We react to thank yous better than, as human beings, better than we react to a sales call. We react to congratulations better than. Again, don't send those 200 Diwali greetings to them by those. Believe me, I mean, how many of you, I mean, as salespeople who are right now live, the sales entrepreneurs who are live right now, react to those 2000 happy Diwali and happy Christmas and happy Eid and happy Independence Day messages on your WhatsApp? You delete them.
Right.
Yep.
Without even reading where it's come from, because there is no personalization to it. Personalization is not about who you are. Personalization is for the person who you are sending it to. I'd rather send him a small, and I actually tested this in an environment. I'm going to take one more minute on Be There and Be Squared because this is very critical. I actually picked up literally, if I were put in Indian currency, a 2 rupee candy, put it in a diamond jewelry, those boxes that come in which comes with a ring. I put it in that, and I just send it to a managing director of a multi-billion-dollar company. I said, I couldn't think of anything better than to add a little bit of sweetness to your life because you've just become a father. I don't want to send a box of chocolates, which everyone will. I don't want to send you a creative. I just want to share my bit of little sweetness. It was in a beautiful box. I paid literally 150 rupees for that box and 2 rupees for the chocolate. You know what was the reaction? The moment it got delivered to him and he opened it, it had a small little note. Just because you feel, father, here's a small bit of sweetness from Victor. Not from Absolute Communications, from Victor. Within 3 seconds of receiving that, he picked up the call and thanked me. He says, Victor, this is the sweetest gesture I've received of becoming a father.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It brought, and this is the guy
Yes,
I was
Victor.
trying to get him on the dial, get him on a sales pitch table with me for almost 9 months. He was not responding to my emails, so I stopped sending emails. He was not responding to my calls, WhatsApp messages, SMSs. So I said, okay, gone client, no worries, nothing to lose, right? But that 2 rupee candy did the magic.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
A 2
Okay,
rupee
that's-
candy, but infinite feelings manifested in the lollipop.
Absolutely,
The lollipop
human
gives
emotions.
different meaning
So
on
be
the show right
there,
now.
be there in the
Yeah.
right way, and it
Yeah.
has to be consistent.
Right.
It has to be consistent, and this will directly, what I just said about be there and be squared will directly relate to the next step that I have, and you'll get to see it now, which is
Before you
change.
say that, Victor, before you
Mhm.
say that, I have to articulate this once again for the audience. The fact that you said that when you go for a sales call, it's not a sales call. It's like you are entering a communication channel and make it fertile, make it resonate. So sales calls or AKA communication channel is a great learning. Thank you so much for the perspective, Victor. Over to you.
So again, as I said, this will relate to what I'm going to say next is change. I normally I prefer using the word disruption. How are you causing a disruption in a communication channel? The way the communication has been happening in your industry. So if you're selling, let's say, cars, or if you're selling, let's say, engineering products, or against a software solution, one thing which is common between them, which Sandeep said in the beginning, is you're selling it to a human being. And human beings have this nature of getting bored. They get bored of the same thing being told to them in different ways again and again and again. Change the way you communicate with them. And as I said, the 2 rupee candy did a better job than my 200 calls and 300 emails. Because I changed the way I want to communicate with that client. And I'll go back even a step back when I spoke about how I opened up a channel by sending him a different LinkedIn message. That's a change. Change your approach, change the way you think about your own industry. Why does an industrial fan guy say, oh, I have to talk to a procurement manager? Isn't that procurement manager a father, a husband, a parent, a brother, and a sister, and a human being at the end of the day? He has the same emotions as you do. He reacts to the same things as you do. So change it so that it doesn't become boring for them. And that becomes, so how do you change it is completely up to you and who you're communicating with. What change you bring in. So don't send a box of chocolate to a vegan guy if you know he's vegan.
Yeah.
But at the same time, please.
Yeah.
Sandeep.
So yeah, Victor, it's very right that you brought this out. A lot of people, I've noticed this, and it happens sometimes even to the best of us. Unless it's ingrained in us to be able to figure out that the people that we speak to, or that we plan to speak to, or that we hope to speak to in a sales environment, we need to be able to see them as people first, and then we need to be aware of the fact, and I love the way you presented this, in terms of the sequence that you brought that out. It's actually a proper flow, logically getting people to understand that these are the aspects that we need to take care of, and yes, of course, changes. If you're seeing that something's not working, what else are you going to do? You can't keep doing the same thing. You'll probably keep sending messages. You'll get blocked eventually by your prospect.
Absolutely. And you know what, that change is, as I said, sometimes that change is not necessary. When we use the word communication, normally misinterpret it as an email, as a phone call, as something I've sent. I mean, I'm saying I'm now defying everything that I've said and going completely opposite to it. Sometimes that change has to be in you. So for me, the change is, when I started this business, I was probably one of the only entrepreneurs who had spikes on my head, gelled up spikes. And as the time grew, and today, after 11 years, I'm probably one of the only entrepreneurs as a senior executive who has a beard goatee, braided, put together. That's a change. People react to that change.
Yeah.
I've actually been invited for meetings saying, you know what, I love the way that you've put your beard together. Please, you were clean shaved and with trimmed beard a few months back, and all of a sudden you bring about a new style and new dynamics to the business. That is a change people react to, because they don't get bored of seeing the same Victor again and again. I don't want to get bored seeing myself in the mirror every morning when I'm brushing my teeth. So bring that change. It becomes a very critical part of your communication, and your personality is a visual communication, how you receive.
Yeah.
I mean, Suresh has seen me many times.
Many
I
avatars.
promise you, there are certain things about me which Suresh would know, who's known me for 6 years, because he's only seen me that, okay, this is Victor, who wears a 3-piece suit uptight always when he goes for a business meeting, but there's always something different about him.
Absolutely.
That is the change. Those small little things make a lot of difference. Yes, I will not go into the details, which Suresh can talk better about, that how you should dress up, because I think that's being human again, how you present yourself. But change is very, very important. It's not just on the other side, it's everything, every variable around it.
And talking of being human,
absolutely phenomenal. Sandeep, really king size, from the king himself, from lollipop to the goatee, to the cigar, to the change. And change is not about being in the air. Change is actually, I can visualize change right now in front of me in the screen, Sandeep.
No, definitely, because all the things that we say and we do, it always narrows down to keeping it real and keeping it human. And one thing, when we talk about human emotions and human behavior and understanding that, and trying, on a human level, not on a technical level. I'll use the phrase, at the end of the day, we are human beings. We as I said before, but एक इंसान को इंसानियत समझ आती है. That's a very important phrase, and so you have to keep it very real, very human. And when you bundle all these 5 points together, one thing which comes out is that in this whole process of communication, one important factor that comes out of what happens is you're actually, as a salesperson, you are taking control of the room. That's when you sell better. Because if you hand over the control to the person you're trying to sell to, you've already lost the sale.
Absolutely.
Keep the control. How does that control now? Connecting all the dots. When I send that small 2 rupee candy to him, I took control. I made him react. When I wear a 3-piece suit and wear this beard and go into a boardroom of managing directors and corporate communications directors, they look at me, the first thing they focus on is, oh, this guy has some power in the room. He's dressed up well, he's different, he's the one in control. Let's hear him talk. So keep that, all this gives you control. And again, relating to the last slide, as human beings, and every element, one element that I've communicated is human, is we love the idea of we love to talk to people who are more powerful than us. We love to hear people who are more powerful than us, who have the better ability to tell us. So whether or not you know it, that's technical information about your product. How do you still control the room? And these are the small elements where people hand over that control to you when you walk into a room. Go with an aura around you. That aura comes in from how you're dressed up to what you have done before that. So when you walk into a client's office and say, hey, I just, hi, hey, by the way, I just want to congratulate you. I saw that your daughter just turned 3. What a beautiful kid. You've just taken control off of him. And this guy, in the first 5 seconds, knows about my family more than it does. But do it very carefully. You don't want to sound like a stalker. But, keeping the digital privacy laws in mind for every country. But do it carefully.
Yeah. I think the essence of it, Victor, is from the authentic. Be authentic. And it's interesting that your first slide said relations. Your last slide says human. It's fascinating that sales and in the SME space, it's all about relations and being human and having the content built into it. I think it comes from not because I'm an extrovert or I'm an introvert. I'm a people's person and not a people's person. It primarily, Victor, comes from authenticity. What you said, whether it's the lollipop or wishing on a 3-year-old's birthday, it came from genuine feeling. I think that was the base of it all. Selling happened incidentally. I mean, when you send the lollipop, it's not about let me get the deal. It's about
Absolutely.
congratulating a father, incidentally who is going to be a prospective client or whatever.
Absolutely.
That's what came out.
It's so true. A typical purchase manager would probably be, bombarded by, so many different messages, almost all sounding similar. So, like you said, if your messaging is different, if you're able to relate on a human level, and if you're able to keep changing it, it'll keep looking different. So that'll make you stand out as compared to all the others. There is a question that came in on LinkedIn on messaging. I'll just put that up. Okay, so that's something. So it says that how can we be better in messaging? Some personal tricks and tips, please. Well, if you watch the rest of the program, I think you've got a lot of them now. Yeah. So anything specific, Victor? So I guess people want more.
So I think one of the key essence of making your messaging better than your competitors or competing salespeople who are trying to sell the same thing to the same guy is be informed. I mean, not about your product. You're already an expert in the domain when you're going there. The most important thing is be informed about every environmental variable around the whole process, from the initial hello to the signing of the check. So where and who are involved. So here's a purchase manager, his boss, his families, his business, how does his business impacts the environment and the economics and your own life, and reverse it. How does these variable impact his business? Classically, and the personal trick of the trade is, as I said, is excellence in messaging. How do you deliver that excellent messaging strategy? So during last 11 months, in our organization, not a single message went out, an email or a WhatsApp saying, how are you feeling? Nobody. Everyone knows how everyone is feeling. Why do I want to rub on that fact? We never use the word and I'm saying this was decided on 15th of March, which was the last working day for us in the office before the lockdown started. That, okay, no new normal, no how are you feeling? Hope your family is safe. Hope you're safe. Come on, you send that message and next thing you come across is my father has COVID. How would you react to it? Are you prepared for that reaction? So the personal trick is keep it real. Your intent of your call is to sell to him. Yeah. Keep that element in mind that yes, this environment is no different than it was before. As much as you want to sell to him, he wants to grow his business as well.
Right. And COVID or not. Yeah, Victor, saying to somebody that would I have the pleasure of selling to you should be a very normal conversation, nothing to hide it about. No, I mean, I'm sure I will be capable enough to use the word sell in a very respectable form. Is something which is I'm very passionate about. And you underline that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a very important part of any process. Ways of selling change and are different for different individual. So my personal tip will be very simple: keeping it real. That yes, if the environment change, the process should not. Up the game.
Great.
Up the game.
Yeah, so that's really been awesome, and I just love the way you at the risk of repeating myself, how you brought out the flow and the human element, which we keep missing out. There's so much of everything is trying to go digital, and people are trying to use digital tools for engagement and things like that and all, and they forget at the end of the day that you're talking to people. If you don't make that connect, nothing's going to work. No amount of digital is going to work if there is no connect, if there's no empathy in it, there's no feeling in it. If you're faking it, also, people will know that you're faking it. Yeah, so absolutely. So I think we're out of time now, Suresh. We didn't realize
absolutely. This. Didn't realize the time went up to 33.45.
Yeah. So if anyone has any. If anyone has any further questions, that's the email ID. You can, please feel free to ask, or you can continue to type the questions. We can't obviously take it once we're off air, but yes, Victor will try and make sure that he can answer as many as he can. And thank you, Victor. Your experience and your very different approach, I think is something that a lot of people will probably now adopt. So it's really been.
And to take over from what Sandeep said, all Indian entrepreneurs who want to really get sales to the next level of growth, here is Victor. All of Indianness in him, based in Dubai. the guy to go to for PR messaging and communication. You look no further. And I don't have to tell you why. You can look at this show. I don't have to say why. So all the wonderful entrepreneurs, be victorious, live life king size, listen to Victor King. Thank you very much, Victor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Victor, stay online. I just end the broadcast.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandeep.